To be honest, I don't even know where to begin. I know I don't really typically make these types of videos, and it's a bit weird for me, especially since I don't post much. But there's something that I've always wanted to cover on my channel, and well, not always, but for a long time now, and it's anime adventures. Now, I don't really have a script, so I'm just saying stuff as it comes to my mind, but as we all know, Anime Adventures is dead. So I think it's at like 200 people playing right now. Model's horrible, there's no new gameplay, but at one point, Anime Adventures was the best, and a lot of people didn't see it. Well, a lot of people in the tower defense genre, that are into it now, didn't see what Anime Adventures was because they got into it after it had shut down. They only saw the re-release, which honestly, in my opinion, wasn't really Anime Adventures. It felt different. I mean, it still had a similar vibe, but what I'm saying is these other types of tower defense games, like Anime Vanguards, Anime Last Stand, what else? Anime Defenders, I know that's also dead. And new ones coming out, Universal Tower Defense, Anime Expeditions, they don't capture the same vibe, and I think everybody agrees with me on that, and I know my reason, and the reason is because the gameplay, the gameplay technically didn't change because it's a tower defense, but I feel like people look at new tower defense and they would completely view Anime Adventures differently. At its peak, of course, in like 2023, because now in tower defense games now, there are so many rerolls. Rerolls are abundant. For example, the daily challenge in Anime Adventures, it max gives you 10 rerolls. I can get like 500 in a day in Anime Vanguards or Universal Tower Defense. And I feel like liquidating rerolls takes away part of the fun. Like, obviously, it's nice to have the 0.1 Monarch, a Ruler, Unique, whatever, but the difference between a Monarch and a Unique is drastic. For instance, I have 2 Uniques on my account. I'll put them on screen. It's an outdated unit and a fart unit. But in Anime Vanguards, I have 16 Monarchs, and in Universal Tower Defense, I have 15 Rulers. And getting Ruler or getting Monarch, it's so much different than getting Unique. And I feel like also the way you obtain units in Anime Adventures, you would have to get, I wouldn't say extremely lucky, but you would seriously have to farm gems. That's something that almost never happens in current day tower defense games, is actually farming gems. Anime Vanguards used to, which honestly I prefer. I'm gonna say I prefer old Anime Vanguards, but you used to have to farm gems and do infinites and do all this stuff just so you could get one mythic that you needed. Now, when I log into Universal Tower Defense or Anime Vanguards, I feel like I just see hundreds of thousands of gems just sitting there, waiting to be used. Because not only do they rarely use the banner, like this past update in Anime Vanguard 2 is the summer banner. They have 10 banners on the summon area, and only 2 of those use the actual gems. So I just have so many gems, and other people just have so many gems. And in Anime Adventures, and sorry, I don't know why I said it like that. In Anime Adventures, it is so much different. Every time an update would drop, you'd see somebody new in the banner, and you'd actually have excitement. I feel like anytime I go into Universal Tower Defense or Anime Vanguard's update, I just see, oh, he's on banner? Okay, let me go get him. So in Anime Adventures, it was like, wait, this guy's on banner. Can I get him? It was so much different. And it just, I feel like no other tower defense game captures what Anime Adventures did. Also, I'm gonna go into a completely different area, the developers. Now, in Anime Adventures, when you go into their announcements, obviously they haven't posted in forever. In 2020, they haven't posted since 2025. I don't see a single announcement that didn't have to do with the game. In Universal Tower Defense and in Anime Vanguards, there's so much drama because if they were just to stick to the game, there would be no drama. But what ends up happening is they decide to not only do stupid stuff, but they just scream it. It is so obvious that, like, hang on, if I check Universal Tower Defense, not only are there so many announcements and it's so many pings and everything and paragraph after paragraph after paragraph, but it's always updates about what's going on with the game, which, yeah, we all like that. But also, the Universal Tower Defense X dev crash out Unrivaled, yeah, it's good that he brought it up to light, but it would have never needed to happen if the Anime Vanguard's devs or the UTDX devs just stuck to developing the game, looking for people to hire or whatever, and if they just stuck to the game and only the game for whatever, I promise you, we never would have had this drama, no lawsuits or anything. And I feel like Anime Adventures, the developers for Anime Adventures did that perfectly. They never said anything about, oh my gosh, this person blah 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 blah, or do not listen to blank random tower defense blah blah blah, they're crazy. No, it's just pure updates of the game, what they added, what they nerfed, what they buffed, what will be added, what will be taken out, and I feel like they're a lot more professional about it, or they were, I should say, and that also helped them with their, I feel like the community. Sure, there wasn't as much, community thought, but like, what the community wanted wasn't as much in the game, but I feel like they still observed, you know, they still put some stuff, and that is one thing I really didn't like about Anime Adventures, that they didn't really listen to the community often. But if we take, basically, long story short, I know this is just a rant video, I don't really do this, but if we take what Anime Adventures was and what Anime Vanguards was or is now, it is completely different. We have an actual, I feel like an actual developer team who's focused on only getting done what they need to get done in the game, not drama or anything else. And then we have Anime Vanguards, which is just, I feel like, is a mess. I don't like playing their game. And not only because it's the grind really annoying, but because of the drama. Same with UTDX. I really don't enjoy playing their games like I did with Anime Adventures, because I know what the developers have done, and I know that there's still drama. And also the gameplay is just, they always trying to make up new stuff and it doesn't really work out. But with Anime Adventures, it just feels professional. It doesn't feel, it felt, I should say, because really nobody plays the game anymore, but it felt professional. It felt like they were actually an actual, like, I wouldn't say AAA, but a step up. I feel like they were a step up from just some random Joe Schmo Roblox game. They actually took stuff professionally instead of like Picef, for example. I know I drama's stupid, but this guy, I feel like there's so much drama around him constantly, and I swear if he were just work on the game and not really, I shouldn't say interact, but I feel like just focus on the game more, and really keep that his top priority when he goes onto Discord, I feel like, or they, whatever, I'm sorry for the wrong pronouns if I'm using the wrong pronouns, but the game will just, the developers, crap, sorry, like I said, I don't really have a script, I'm just going off my, what's coming up in my noggin. I feel like if he were to just focus on the game, and that's his main priority whenever he logs into Discord, then there would be almost no drama. There Anime Adventures, there was not one time where I saw drama in Anime Adventures, and when there was, it was in the community, not the developers. There hasn't been a single developer that I know in Anime Adventures that has had any drama. But I'm sorry for this really long rant. I know I don't really make these types of videos. I digress. I'm done ranting. If you do want more, I guess I could make more. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.